To the climate change, the World Summit in Mexico has ended with legislators recognizing that tackling poverty and the unsustainable use of natural resources are the biggest challenges facing humanity in the 21st century. The legislators from more than 70 parliaments have committed to undertake a comprehensive assessment of existing laws to address and prepare for the impacts of climate change. Our correspondent Ayola Kazim, who is in Mexico, has more of the story.
The third day of what has been described as the largest ever gathering of lawmakers on sustainable development.
Ladies and gentlemen,
the legislators' resolution includes commitments to create the foundation for a new United Nations brokered global agreement in Paris 2015. It calls for a new generation of international agreement that places national legislation at its heart.
So what we're saying now, why don't you put it into a legal framework, domestically accountable in a statutory piece of legislation, as we've done in Britain, and no governments, as Australia's found out, can actually change it by just coming in. They've got to bring in new legislation to stop it. Now that's quite a critical part of any new agreement, and that's the legal strength, if you like, a real legal power imposed domestically.
The decisive intervention from legislators is based upon a growing recognition that the classic model of international governmental negotiations is no longer sufficient to deliver the necessary action to achieve a global climate agreement and meet the goal of limiting global average temperature rise to 2 degrees above pre-industrial levels.
Whatever you agree in Paris has got to be carried through, and again, legislators are part of that. And recognizing that and making it very clear that that's part of the system is what we want from the United Nations. Not because we've got any particular self-aggrandizement, but simply because the practicalities are that only parliaments and assemblies will deliver.
Heads of key United Nations institutions, the UN climate negotiations and the World Bank Group joined legislators during the summit as part of the partnership for legislation that will support lawmakers to develop, advance and implement laws on climate change, forests and natural capital accounting. So it is goodbye from Mexico, but it is expected that the world leaders will build on the successes recorded here when they meet with the United Nations Secretary General in September during the Climate Summit holding in New York. And from the Legislative Palace here in Mexico City, I am Ayola Kasim reporting for Channels Television News.